The galaxy was vast, but the Galactic Empire sought to make it small under its heel. For centuries, they had expanded, crushing weaker systems and bending others to their will. Their star-spanning fleet stood as a testament to their dominance, and the Emperor himself was worshipped as a god by billions. To them, humanity was an anomaly, an audacious upstart that refused to submit. Humanity's homeworld, Earth, was a distant blip on the galactic map, but their defiance loomed large. Against all odds, the humans held their ground. Relying on ingenuity and an uncanny ability to endure, the Empire, seeing their refusal as an affront, escalated a minor border dispute into open hostility. Tension simmered until the unthinkable happened. An Imperial patrol frigate destroyed a human mining vessel near the contested zone. A ceasefire meeting was arranged in neutral space, more to placate galactic opinion than to resolve anything. Both sides prepared for the encounter with equal parts caution and disdain. The Empire's delegation, led by General Kaldras and Admiral Thorn, arrived aboard the ineffable Dominion, an imposing dreadnought bristling with weaponry. The humans sent one man, John Reeve. He stepped off the shuttle, clad in a simple black suit. It stood in stark contrast to the grandeur of the Imperial vessel. He carried no visible weapons, no entourage, and no apparent fear. His appearance was unremarkable: short-cropped hair, a weathered face, piercing gray eyes that seemed to miss nothing. If the Empire had hoped for a display of human power, this solitary figure was a disappointment. General Dross sneered as Reeve approached, a towering man with a square jaw and cold blue eyes. Dross epitomized the Empire's military elite. His uniform was immaculate. His medals gleamed under the docking bay lights. "So this is the great human diplomat," Dross said, voice dripping with derision. "I expected more spectacle." Reeve stopped, hands clasped behind his back. "Spectacle is a poor substitute for substance, General." The words were spoken softly, yet echoed through the cavernous space. A flicker of annoyance crossed Dross's face. But Admiral Thorn, standing nearby, chuckled. Unlike Dross, Thorn was wiry and calculating. His thin lips curled into an amused smirk. "Ah, the humans do have a flair for drama," Thorn said. "Let's hope your words are as sharp as your tongue, Mr. Reeves. You'll need them to justify your people's reckless defiance." Reeve tilted his head slightly, expression unreadable. "I thought we were here to discuss peace." "Peace?" Dross barked, stepping closer. "Peace is earned, not demanded. Your people are fortunate we're even entertaining this charade." Reeve's gaze shifted. He took in the dozens of armed guards flanking the Imperials. The tension was palpable, yet his demeanor remained calm, almost detached. "Then let's dispense with the charade and speak plainly," he said. "Humanity isn't interested in servitude, General. If you seek submission, you'll find resistance instead." Dross's face darkened. But before he could speak, Thorn raised a hand. "Enough posturing," the Admiral said. "Let's proceed to the negotiation chamber. After all, we're civilized beings, are we not?" The group moved through the corridors of the ineffable Dominion. Its cold, metallic interiors reflected the Empire's utilitarian philosophy. Reeve walked at the center, his footsteps measured, deliberate. He appeared unaffected by the veiled threats whispered by guards or the disdainful glares from Dross. Inside the chamber, Reeve was directed to a seat at a long table. At the far end sat Dross and Thorn, flanked by aides and holographic displays. The walls hummed faintly with the ship's energy, a reminder of the power surrounding him. Dras leaned forward, voice low and menacing. "Let's be clear, human. The only reason you're still breathing is because the Emperor sees some value in keeping your species around. Push us too far, and we'll extinguish your little flame before it grows into a blaze." Reeve met his gaze, unflinching. "Extinguishing flames can be tricky, General. Sometimes they spark something you can't control." Thorn interjected, tone lighter but no less threatening. "Tell me, Mr. Reeves, do you truly believe humanity can stand against us? Or is this defiance just a desperate bluff?" Reeves smiled. Faintly, the first sign of emotion he'd shown. "Belief is required, Admiral. History speaks for itself." Small forces can topple empires when pushed far enough. The room fell silent. The weight of his words settled like a shroud. Dra single quotes S fist clenched. Thorn's expression shifted, part curiosity, part unease. The human's confidence was unsettling. They couldn't tell if it stemmed from ignorance or knowledge of something they'd overlooked. Suddenly Dross stood. Enough of this farce. Guards, take him to the holding bay. Let's see how defiant he is when he's facing an airlock. The guards moved in, weapons drawn. But Reeve remained seated, eyes cold and calculating. You should reconsider, he said quietly. Drs laughed, a hard, guttural sound. Reconsider? You're in no position to... The lights flickered. A low rumble reverberated through the ship. Alarms blared as systems stuttered. The guards hesitated, confidence wavering. Reeve stood slowly, his movements deliberate. You were saying, General? Drass's face twisted in rage. What is this? What did you do? Reeve adjusted, his cuff's expression calm. Consider it a lesson in underestimating humanity. The room plunged into chaos. Alarms shrieked. Dross barked orders, but his voice was drowned in the rising cacophony. Reeve stepped back. His figure dissolved into the shadows of the flickering lights. The last thing they saw before power cut completely were his gray eyes, gleaming like a predator in the dark. He moved, a haze of well-considered accuracy. In a single seamless motion, he disarmed the closest guard. The man's wrist snapped with a nauseating pop. Reeves twisted, caught the falling weapon, and fired a single shot into the second guard. Removing him before the others could react, they scrambled, raising their guns. Chaos erupted. Dross fired, but Reeves dodged the burning plasma bolt, slipping past him effortlessly. In an instant he closed the distance, striking Dross's wrist. The pistol clattered to the floor, followed by an angular elbow to the jaw. The general staggered, blood streaming from his split lip. Thorn ducked behind the console, spraying commands with frantic precision. The detention block Sia is suddenly alive. The last of the guards hesitated, fear rising in their eyes as they prepped for engagement. Reeves leapt over a control panel, bolts of plasma charring the air around him. He moved like a shadow, snatching a stun baton from an unconscious guard, disarming another from the corner, then rendering 2 more soldiers incapacitated with ruthless efficiency. Don't just stand there, one officer yelled. Murder him. But Reeves had become something more than a man. He was fear incarnate. Each blow, each movement was precise, effective, and lethal-like. He had rehearsed this encounter 1,000 times in his mind. Who are you? Thorn hissed, voice faltering. As he stepped from concealment, holding a plasma gun, Reeves looked up, face unreadable. In his gray eyes, Thorn saw something ancient, something primal. I'm the consequence, Diplomat? Reeves said. Thorn fired, but Reeves sidestepped the shot, then hurled the stun baton like a spear. It struck Thorn's shoulder with brutal precision. The rifle clattered from his grasp before he could respond. Reeves advanced. He wrapped a hand around the Admiral's throat, lifting him off the floor. What do you die for? He asked, his voice deep and lethal. Thorn clawed at Reeves's iron grip, sputtering out the wrong answer. Reeves drove his knee into Thorn's stomach, then let him fall into a crumpled heap. Boots echoed from the corridor reinforcements. Reeves turned to the console and began calculating. Thorn, gasping, watched as Reeves' fingers danced across the interface. Energy barriers around the remaining cells deactivated. Inmates various species poured into the hallway, sowing chaos. Guards were overwhelmed. Still in shock, Dross could only watch as his flagship descended into anarchy. You'll pay for this, he shouted, staggering to his feet. Reeves turned, his expression colder than space. You already are. Before Dross could reply, Reeves activated the ship-wide announcement system. His calm, authoritative voice echoed across the vessel. Crew of the unfathomable Dominion, your leaders have lied to you. Stand down and you'll live to see another. Sunrise, defy them and you won't. Dross lunged, but Reeves was faster. One brutal strike to the leg sent the general collapsing to the floor. Reeves turned to the console again. With deft fingers, he navigated the Dominion systems. The flagship shuddered violently. Critical systems were failing, lights in the command building flickered. The roar of engines faltering. Thorn clutched his side, eyes wide with fury and fear. "You haven't won." "You've only delayed the inevitable," he rasped. Reeves leaned, in voice calm as a storm. "You attacked humanity thinking we were weak? That was your first mistake." He moved again, vanishing into the shadows as alarms screamed and the chaos escalated. Gunfire echoed, systems failed. Guards fell. Reeves had lit the match, and now the Empire would burn. The hallways of the unfathomable dominion became an embodiment of disorder. Weapons clashed. Alarms screamed. Frightened crew members cried out. Jonathan Reeves moved through it all like a ghost. The Empire's backup systems failed to keep up with the sabotage he had prepared. Each failure was planned. Each step dismantled the mighty flagship from within. Once symbols of imperial pride now flinched behind makeshift barricades. Reeves had jammed communications. Isolated squads and struck without mercy. To fight him was to fall quickly and brutally. Survivors whispered his name, the Baba Yaga. In the command center. Thorn and a few loyal or terrified officers regrouped. His face was pale, carved with fear. "Report," he barked. A trembling technician replied, "Main. Systems are compromised. The reactor is unstable. Security grid lost." Thorn slammed a fist into the console. "Where are our men? Who is doing this?" General Kaldras limped in, bloodied but stubborn. "Reinforcements won't help," he wheezed. "He's not a diplomat." "That's a myth. He is the Baba Yaga." Thorn stared at him, incredulous. "The Baba Yaga is just a story." "No," Dras growled. "We thought so too." Legends of Reeves had circled through the darkest corners of the galaxy, an agent who ended wars and toppled empires. Imperial propaganda claimed he was fiction. But now the tale had come